You're listening to The Bible Guys, a podcast where a couple of friends talk about the Bible in fun and practical ways.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Bible Guys.
Woohoo!
Today is Thursday.
All right.
And we are thrilled that you're here today.
It's everybody's second favorite day that begins with T.
Oh, wow. That was rough. That was rough.
You think?
Hey, actually, I'd like Thursdays better than Tuesdays.
Do you?
I do.
Okay. Well, there's a difference between the two of us, Chris.
You like Tuesdays better?
Yeah. Because Thursday's not Friday.
Yeah, well, Thursday's leading up to Friday.
I know.
So it's more exciting than Tuesday.
But Tuesday, you're not on Monday anymore.
Dude.
It's so much better.
This is a
Anyways, let's go.
very subjective conversation for certain.
So, hey, speaking of our subjective opinions,
yes.
Today is one of your favorite segments called Would You Rather?
Yes, Would You Rather is a great.
Right?
Yes.
And this is very subjective as well.
Yes, I
So,
agree.
Chris, would you rather relive your childhood with the knowledge you have now,
Oh, that's a good
or
one.
relive your childhood without any recollection of the present?
What?
You just go back and relive your back and relive your childhood
What kind of option is
without
that?
any of the advantage of having lived now.
What kind of option is that? It's like, hey, would you rather go back and do something extremely cool with a bunch of really great knowledge, or would you rather go back and have exactly the same outcome with no control and no knowledge whatsoever? Okay, obviously, I want to have knowledge.
Okay. All right. Well, that was just the question.
Hey, I'm angry at it.
Okay. You're mad.
It's what made Chris mad on Thursday. What kind of question is that?
Okay.
Hey, what
Sure.
would you rather do?
Of course you'd want to have the knowledge you have now.
What would you rather do?
I'd rather have the knowledge too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, go for number 2.
Number 2?
Yeah. Oh, you want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you rather be forced to listen to the Barney theme song for 24 hours straight, or someone slurp soup for 24 hours straight?
Oh, there's no question for me. I've already listened to the Barney's theme song for 24 hours straight.
Yeah. Oof.
Most of my daughter's childhood. So I can handle that.
You can handle that?
But slurping of soup?
I'm the opposite. I would totally choose slurping the soup.
What?
Yeah. Because the Barney theme song is a brain worm. It's an earworm. It gets stuck in your head.
I
And
love you.
you'll be thinking of it
You
for
love me.
weeks after that 24-hour window. Whereas you won't be thinking,
family with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you
Yeah.
say you love
okay,
me
you
too?
see? Would you rather
I
have to
love
use...
you.
No, let's go. Would you rather have to use shrimp-flavored toothpaste or deodorant that smells like cheese?
Oh my goodness. Now I respect this question.
You like this
I
one?
respect it. I don't like it. I respect it. What would I rather do? Oh, I think I'd have to put up with the shrimp flavored toothpaste
Really?
because it's here and then it's gone. Right? It doesn't say that
No,
you
it's there
can't
for
do-
everybody else.
What?
It's there. Everybody else is going to smell it.
No, because it doesn't say that you can't wash your mouth out with Listerine afterwards.
Oh, it doesn't say that. You're right.
But the deodorant that smells like cheese, it'd be hard to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Dude, can you
I would choose the
imagine?
cheese.
Why?
I would. Because I hate shrimp right now.
Oh, you're just anti-shrimp currently?
I haven't always been a shrimp hater, but I am right now.
Because?
The last time I had it, I got terrible sick, remember?
That was like 2 years ago.
I know. I can't even be around the smell of it right now. It turns my stomach.
It's literally 2 years later?
Yeah. It was a year later. It was last year.
No.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was.
Come on.
It
That was a while back.
It was this time last year.
See, I
yeah.
got sick in the Dominican Republic on shrimp.
Yeah. Well, you should learn something from it, Chris.
I've eaten shrimp three times since then, at least.
Okay.
At
Not
least.
me. Not me. I just can't get past it.
Yeah.
My least favorite thing in the world is to be sick to my stomach. Yeah.
I got you.
Would you rather have a free subscription to Netflix or free pizza supply for the rest of your life? I think both of these are supposed to be for the rest of your life.
I would assume
Yeah.
so.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer.
That's you're going to say pizza.
Pizza, 100%.
Well, it's a better value, right? It's a better value.
Yeah.
Because how much is Netflix?
Well, I don't really care about Netflix. I don't care.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. So it's all about what you're getting there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I really care a lot about pizza. Okay.
You're gonna activate my bronchitis over here. That's hilarious.
Would you rather always have a mullet haircut or a ponytail haircut?
Ponytail.
Yeah. Like a biker, kind of a ponytail. Yeah. Especially now you're getting a little bit of gray in your hair. That's kind of cool looking.
Well, I think ponytails are more acceptable than mullets.
You think so?
I mean, yeah. Mullets are like, when you see somebody with a mullet, you're like,
Whoa,
take
there's a
out
mullet.
your phone. Take out your phone and film it because, holy cow, that's a mullet. That's an actual mullet, right? But ponytails are like, oh, he's still wearing a ponytail.
Did you see that guy at the NFL Combine with that incredible mullet?
No. Which one?
Oh, it made like ESPN. The mullet itself, not his performance. He had a great performance, but yeah, it was a mullet, man. It gets people's attention.
Are you talking about the thing that I went to, the Pro Bowl?
No. The NFL Combine this last week.
Oh, this past week.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Wow. No, I did not see that.
College kid had this amazing mullet. It does get people's attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, I'd say ponytail.
I was gonna say mullet.
Really?
Yeah. Man, we've been opposite on all of these today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've been wrong. You're allowed to be wrong, Chris.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. That's so funny.
Wow.
By the way, would you rather? There is no wrong answer, Jeff. Because it's would you rather?
Yeah.
You.
Right.
Subjective you.
Okay.
Preference you.
Okay.
All right.
You're still wrong.
Hey, by the way, speaking of preferences, I very much prefer the book of Isaiah over Chronicles or Micah that we've been in, and I'm really glad that we're back.
Okay.
In the book of Isaiah now.
Well, so you remember there's all these prophets that are going on. So Micah is during this time. We just read about Obed coming and correcting.
It's Oded.
Oded? Was it Oded?
Yes.
Was it Oded? Did I read it wrong?
You did.
Oded, you're right.
And by the way, I thought you said Obed twice.
I did.
And I thought about saying, Jeff,
that
it's
was yesterday.
Oded. It was yesterday. But I thought,
you had this perverse satisfaction in me being wrong.
No. In fact, the opposite is true. I didn't say anything.
Oh, yeah.
But now when you said today, I'm like, I got it.
You can't let it go unchecked.
Not 3 times.
3 times. 3 strikes, you're out.
3 strikes, you're out.
That's a strong position we're taking. Oded.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyways, Micah, Oded, you've got all these guys that have clustered together in this era. And Isaiah being, God used him to write just a huge prophetic book of so many things. Isaiah is kind of the crown jewel of all of these prophets at the time. So we're going to kind of intersect through Isaiah quite a bit, I think, as we continue to tell the stories of Israel. But it says here in Isaiah chapter 8, then the Lord said to me, make a large signboard and clearly write...
Whoa. Wait a minute. We're supposed to be in Isaiah 7 today.
Oh, I'm reading the wrong one.
1 through 25.
Well, man, I wanted to read Isaiah 8. Okay.
Well, we'll read Isaiah 8
Well, this is
tomorrow.
for Ahaz then.
Yes.
This is a message to Ahaz. I'm super excited about tomorrow. So listen, people. I don't want to get away. But he's going to use this. He's going to draw a signboard.
A great job promoting tomorrow.
Yeah, he's going to write a signboard.
Okay,
it's going to be cool.
It's a great day tomorrow.
But I can't tell you what he's going to write on it today. So in Isaiah 7. It says, when Ahaz, son of Jotham and grandson of Uzziah, was king of Judah, King Rezin of Syria, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, the king of Israel, set out to attack Jerusalem. However, they were unable to carry out their plan. The news had come to the royal court of Judah, Syria is allied with Israel against us. So the hearts of the king and his people trembled with fear like trees shaking in a storm. Then the Lord said to Isaiah, take your son Shear-Jashub. What?
Wow,
I don't think I ever remember that.
Dude, you nailed it though.
I know, but I didn't realize Isaiah, what were you thinking? Shear-Jashub?
Yep.
Okay, and go out and meet King Ahaz. You will find him at the end of the aqueduct that feeds water into the upper pool near the road leading to the field where cloth is washed. Tell him to stop worrying. Tell him he doesn't need to fear the fierce anger of those 2 burned out embers, King Rezin of Syria and Pekah, son of Remaliah. Yes, the kings of Syria and Israel are plotting against him, saying, we will attack Judah and capture it for ourselves, and then we will install the son of Tabeel as Judah's king. But this is what the sovereign Lord says. This invasion will never happen. It will never take place, for Syria is no stronger than its capital Damascus, and Damascus is no stronger than its king Rezin. As for Israel, within 65 years, it'll be crushed and completely destroyed. Israel is no stronger than its capital, Samaria, and Samaria is no stronger than its king, Pekah, son of Remaliah. Unless your faith is firm, I cannot make you stand firm. Later, the Lord sent this message to King Ahaz. Ask the Lord your God for a sign of confirmation, Ahaz. Make it as difficult as you want, as high as heaven or as deep as the place of the dead. But the king refused. No, he said, I will not test the Lord like that. Then Isaiah said, Listen well, you royal family of David. Isn't it enough to exhaust human patience? Must you exhaust the patience of my God as well? All right then, the Lord himself will give you the sign. Look, the virgin will conceive a child. She will give birth to a son, and will call him Immanuel, which means God is with us. By the time this child is old enough to choose what is right and reject what is wrong, he'll be eating yogurt and honey. For before the child is that old, the lands of the two kings you fear so much will both be deserted. Then the Lord will bring things on you, your nation, and your family, unlike anything since Israel broke away from Judah. He will bring the king of Assyria upon you. In that day the Lord will whistle for the army of southern Egypt and for the army of Assyria, and they will swarm around you like flies and bees, and they will come in vast hordes and settle in the fertile fields, fertile areas, and also in the desolate valleys and caves and thorny places. In that day the Lord will hire a razor from beyond the Euphrates River, the king of Assyria, and use it to shave off everything, your land, your crops, and your people. In that day a farmer will be fortunate to have a cow and 2 sheep or goats left. Nevertheless, there will be enough milk for everyone because so few people will be left in the land. They will eat their fill of yogurt and honey. In that day, the lush vineyards, now worth 1,000 pieces of silver, will become patches of briars and thorns. The entire land will become a vast expanse of briars and thorns and a hunting ground overrun by wildlife. No one will go to the fertile hillsides where the gardens once grew, for briars and thorns will cover them. Cattle, sheep, and goats will graze there. Ooh!
Boy, talk about a prediction.
Yeah, he's going to send a razor. Isn't it the descriptions that God gives? I'm going to whistle for the army of southern Egypt, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to come in like flies and bees around you, and then I'm going to send you a razor from Assyria. He's just going to shave your land, take everything from you. That's pretty tough.
Yeah, it is. I was reading the footnote where it said the virgin will conceive a child and he will give birth to a son. He will be name him Immanuel, which is God with us. So there's a footnote that says virgin is translated from a Hebrew word used for an unmarried woman who is old enough to be married, one who is sexually mature. See Genesis 24, Exodus chapter 2, Psalm 68, Proverbs 30, Song of Solomon chapter 1. Some have compared this young woman to Isaiah's young wife and newborn son in Isaiah chapter 8. This is not likely because she had already had a child, Shear-Jashub, and her second child was not named Immanuel. Some believe that Isaiah's first wife may have died, and that so this is his second wife, who's more likely that the prophecy had a double fulfillment.
Yeah.
And then it just goes on to talk about that. A young woman from the house of Ahaz who was not married would marry and have a son before 3 years passed, 1 year for pregnancy and 2 years for the child old enough to talk. The 2 invading kings would be destroyed. And then number 2, Matthew 1:23 quotes Isaiah 7:14 to show further fulfillment of this prophecy, and a virgin named Mary conceived and bore a son, Immanuel, which is the Christ.
Right. So this happens sometimes. It happens in Isaiah. It happens in a couple of the other prophetic books, Daniel. It happens in Revelation, where there are 2 meanings to a prophecy. Mm-hmm. There's the early prophecy, right, the direct thing that's being talked about. Then there's also this secondary prophecy about the end times or about the Messiah or something. So there's 2. So in this one, when it talks about the virgin, first off, it's talking about a young woman that is not yet married. And what he's trying to say is this is a 3-year window. Mm-hmm. She's not yet married. She's going to get probably get married, but certainly get pregnant. She's going to have a baby. So she currently is a virgin.
Right.
Then she's going to have a baby. That's going to take about almost a year. Mm-hmm. And then that baby is going to be able to communicate and sit up and eat yogurt and all those kinds of things. It's about a 3-year window. Mm-hmm. That's what Isaiah is trying to say. Within 3 years,
right,
God's going to whistle for Egypt to come up and wipe you out. God's going to bring the razor of Assyria in and shave your land. You are going to be overwhelmed within the next 3 years, which we know happens in Ahaz's life. So that virgin is not talking about a virgin birth.
Right.
It's talking about a young woman who's currently a virgin, will get pregnant, have a baby. That baby will be able to communicate. That's probably 2 years or so. And so you got about a 3-year window. But then also it's quoted later as in Matthew chapter 1, also saying that this was a prophetic thing, that eventually there'd be a virgin birth in it with the Messiah as well. And that's the name Immanuel, which means God with us.
Right.
Right.
Which is cool.
Yeah. It's really neat.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's confusing when you read a story like that and you realize there's two meanings to the same passage. But the Bible does that fairly regularly. The Hebrew language lends itself to having multiple meanings to the same statement. It's why there were so many rabbis. It's why there's more written about the writings of God by the rabbis than there are the writings of God, right? Is they all have, there's so many ways to play with the meanings of words in Hebrew. It's confusing to us who speak English, because our words are a little bit simpler. Like we say love and we for all kinds of stuff. Whereas like in those Middle Eastern languages, they have lots of words. Greek has what, 7 words for love. There's all these things. For the Israelites, their Hebrew words, the beginning and the ending of a word kind of gives a hint as to what it means, right? Names have very specific prophetic meanings, all these things. So think about it this way. In David's writings, David says, those that love God with all their heart, he will give them the desires of their heart. And rabbis understand it to mean two things. You love God with all your heart, and he will give you what you want. And you love God with all your heart, and he'll give you the right wants. Right? So he gives you the want. He gives you the desire of your heart. And then he gives you that desire. Right. So he gave you the desire, and then he gives you what you desire, right? Right. Is what that means. That happens a lot in the Bible, that there's two meanings to the same statement. And it would then translate well for us to understand this sometimes happens with prophecies as well. So he's prophesying in the future, Jesus, and at the same time, you've got about 3 years and you're going to get wiped out. Right? It's pretty neat. It's a neat thing. It's hard for English speakers to understand, but it's a pretty amazing thing. And then, boy, talking about total destruction. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And so, once again, Ahaz is...
Hello, Chris.
Yeah, sorry. I actually got confused. Remember how you were talking about chapter 8 tomorrow?
Yes.
I started to talk about chapter 8.
Oh, you were jumping into chapter 8.
I was like, wait a minute, that's not this week. So what I was going to say is, so Ahaz once again gets this word from the Lord, and I wonder why he actually said, "I will not test God like that."
Yeah,
isn't that interesting? Like, I wonder if he's saying, like, I'm not even gonna play in your God games. Yeah. Or I wonder if he was actually saying, like, I'm not even touching that with a 10-foot pole because I don't want to think about God. I don't want to get near God because I know it's going to be bad for me because I recognize that I've not been good. Yeah. Like, is there an acknowledgement, you think, of his wicked ways?
I think God is giving him an opportunity to prove that God exists. I think God doesn't want, because yesterday, God says, at the very beginning of this chapter, God says, listen, I'm not going to let them wipe you out right now. Right? I'm going to protect you. Don't worry about it. It's a weak kingdom, right? Damascus can't win because King Rezin is so weak. Right. And Israel can't win because Pekah is so weak. Right? They're only as strong as their kings, and their kings are weak. Don't worry about it. I'm going to protect you. And then he says, I think God is trying to develop a relationship with Ahaz. That's what I think is happening. This is almost like a Solomon moment. You tell me what you want and I'll give it to you. And I'm wondering if that's not what's happening here. Just on the surface, as I read, there might be some theological thing happening here that I don't understand. But on the surface, it seems like God's saying, what do I need to do to prove to you that I'm real? What do I need to do to prove to you that you do not have to worship the gods of Baal and all these other Canaanite gods? What do I have to prove? And I think Ahaz is just so hard-hearted that he couldn't give a rip about the God of the universe or the God of Israel. He's already sacrificed his sons to Baal, right? So he's pretty committed to this Baal worship thing, and he doesn't want to play God's games. So I'm not going to test the Lord like that. I'm not interested. I think it's like, I don't want God to prove himself to me. I don't care. And that's when God goes, all right, I'm going to shave you. I'm going to shave you bald. I'm going to shame you like you've never been shamed. I'm going to overwhelm you with flies and locusts, out of Egypt, talking about Egypt coming in and swarming them. It's just, he literally kind of resurrects the plagues of Egypt and shaves him bald. And being shaved bald was a shame, right? That's what you do to a slave kind of thing. And it seems like it really just, it was your last chance, Ahaz. Okay, 3 years from now, it's done. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's not just like you said a couple of times ago. What'd you say? There's a lot of bad news.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad news coming for Ahaz.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. He's got a rough ride ahead of him. I also think the reason why it's 3 years is because it takes a long time in those days to assemble an army, build the supply lines all the way from Egypt to Jerusalem, all the way from Damascus down to Jerusalem. Right? Mm-hmm. It takes a long time to move hundreds of thousands of soldiers. It's not like we just put them on jets and fly them over there. But you think about it, even in some of the wars that we've seen in our lifetime, it takes months. Hey, we're going to invade your country. And then it still took us 3, 4, 5, 6 months to move all the equipment in place. Mm-hmm. And we've got jets. Right. And they've got to walk. Right? And so they've got to assemble the armies. And so I think it wasn't a done deal. God wasn't saying this will happen. God's saying, because you chose not to play, right? I gave you an opportunity to find out if I'm real. Because you didn't, it's going to take 3 years to put it together. This was not already in the making. This is a result of the fact that he rejected his opportunity. That's why I think this was a legitimate opportunity for him to find out God was real. Yeah. Because it's going to take a long time to assemble those two armies and send them down and wipe them out.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, that is our time together. So we will hopefully see you tomorrow on the Bible Guys.